And now, the rest of the story. In the summer of 1953, a little girl in Oklahoma turned 5 at an amusement park called Joyland. Cake, laughter, rides under the bright sun. It was the kind of birthday a child could remember forever. But just days later, Martha Ann Lillard woke up with a sore throat and a pain in her neck she couldn't shake. Her family rushed her to the hospital. The diagnosis? Polio, a virus that back then struck fear into every parent's heart. Within hours, the paralysis crept in. She couldn't lift her head from the pillow. Breathing became a battle. Doctors placed her tiny body inside a massive 800-pound metal cylinder, an iron lung, a machine that rhythmically changed the pressure around her chest, forcing air in and out of her lungs that no longer obeyed her commands. For 6 months in the hospital, it kept her alive. She spent 23 hours a day inside at first, with just 1 hour out for painful rehabilitation. Mary thought it would be temporary, but for Martha, that iron lung became a lifelong companion. She learned to frog breathe, a technique of swallowing air to stay out of the machine for hours during the day. In her healthier years, she lived a life as full as she could. Animal rescue work, connections with friends and family, and a determination that impressed even her 106-year-old neighbor who had driven her to the hospital all those decades earlier. She tried newer ventilators, but none worked as well as the old tank, as she called it. That's what keeps me healthy, she would say. That's what heals me. She slept in it nightly for most of her life. By the 21st century, iron lungs were relics. Polio vaccines had nearly eradicated the disease in America. The machines were no longer made. Parts were scavenged or jury-rigged by dedicated mechanics. Martha became one of the very last, and after the passing of Paul Alexander in Texas in 2024, the man who had lived in one for 72 years and became a lawyer and author, she was the last known Americans still relying on one. She faced challenges, including the recent struggles with long-haul COVID that forced her back into the machine full-time. Just weeks before her death, she invited local news into her Shawnee, Oklahoma home, desperately seeking help with repairs to keep the antique machine running. On June 26, 2026, at the age of 78, Martha Ann Lillard passed away. At her funeral, they removed her from the vacuum for the very last time. For the first time in 73 years, she rested outside that iron lung in eternal peace. And now you know the rest of the story. Good day.